This edition of Mac Voices is supported by Take Control Books, the answers you need now from leading experts. Visit TakeControlBooks.com to find out what you can learn. And by MacVoices Magazine, our free Flipboard magazine that brings you some of the best Mac, iPhone, and iPad productivity tips on the web. High in signal, low in noise, just like MacVoices, MacVoices Magazine includes information on how you can get more out of your Apple technology. Subscribe at macvoices.com/magazine or search for MacVoices Magazine on Flipboard. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're getting toward the end of August, beginning of September. That means a lot of things, but one thing it really means is always a conversation about the SuperMeet in Amsterdam. Joining us this time around is Michael Horton. He is one of the two organizers of the SuperMeet, and he's going to tell us what's happening this year. Mike?
Hey, it's great to be here. By the way, Dan sends his apologies. His computer went down, which is not a good time to go down at this time of year.
No.
But it did go down, so he is frantically working on it, and hopefully it'll be back up either later tonight or early in the morning, or he'll frantically run it to the repair shop and get it done, because we're going to need that computer. So.
Well, we'd had enough scheduling trouble trying to get the three of us together, and we also figured that we better get this out so people still have time to sort of react and sign up for the SuperMeet if they wish to, and maybe even book a plane ticket or two if necessary.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of plane tickets, the plane tickets are as cheap as I've ever seen them, and I don't know why. I know September is usually fairly inexpensive, but going to Amsterdam is usually not that cheap. But you can get tickets. I got a ticket from L.A. to Amsterdam round trip. This was a couple of months ago for $660.
Wow.
Yes, and it only lasted one day. I just got lucky. I just happened to be looking, and you had to make one stop. Big deal. And I just looked yesterday, and from Los Angeles, it's $800 and something. And that was just yesterday, and that could change in the next couple of weeks. I don't know.
Sure.
Nonstop KLM, I think, is $1,300, which is expensive, but there are deals out there. And then when you get to Europe, with the euro being so good against the dollar, it's really cheap. So
yeah.
Take it, or England. I mean, the pound just crashed. So you might as well go to England and take advantage of that. It's just great.
Yeah,
it's not good for them, but it's great for us.
Yeah, we're sorry for our British friends, but
Yeah, sorry guys, but hey, it's really good. We'll bring you our tourist dollars.
Yeah.
So yes, there is some really, really good deals there. There are not really good deals in hotels, which is why you have to stay outside of Amsterdam center. But it's such a small little place that you're a 10-minute tram ride away from anywhere, or 15 minutes, as they say. You're always 15 minutes away from every place in Amsterdam. So if you're thinking of going, I would do it, because I don't think it'll ever get any cheaper.
Wow. So you're telling me that this is the year I should have planned to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I've got you to go to Vegas.
Yeah, I know, and you've gotten me to go to Boston.
San Francisco, of course.
San Francisco, yeah.
You've been to a bunch of super in Boston.
Yeah.
So that's the only one left is Amsterdam.
Yeah, this is what happens when you hang around in questionable company, folks.
And it is the most fun. It really is. It's the most fun SuperMeet of all the SuperMeets that we do, is the Amsterdam one. And we really look forward to it every year. And it's always difficult to produce it, because we're here and they're there, and it's a different time zone. Also, the Europeans tend to disappear in August. They go on holiday, and I think they return in about next week. That's when they return. So it's really hard to get anybody to return your emails because they're on holiday. And the nice thing about the Europeans is they don't bring their computers with you. They won't bring their phones, or if they bring their phones, they're not checking their email or anything like that. They're on holiday. And we're us. We go on holiday. We're checking the phones, bringing our computer, doing all that. We just never disconnect. They do. So they know how to live. We don't.
Yeah. Funny you say that, because I sent an email to someone tonight, and I got one of the auto replies back. I'm on vacation until September something. And then 30 seconds later, I got an answer for it. And it's like, turn your email off, man. That's not good.
No, I do that too, especially all the marketing people. They get the auto replies or on holiday, and then like a day later, I get a reply.
Yeah.
And which is nice, but
Oh, yeah. At least it keeps it moving for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
We're a whole different breed, Americans. Let me tell you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
let's tell me about the SuperMeet this time around. There's always something different, always something unique. What's special about this one?
Yeah, well, this one is. I'm really proud of the agenda that we put together here. Very proud. It's a little bit different than the Vegas SuperMeet, which was last April. But we are featuring a lot of VR 360 video filmmaking, and we got an exceptional filmmaker in an editor, Duncan Shepherd, who will be talking about the short documentaries that he did for this series of videos called Pure McCartney VR, which was starring Paul McCartney. And he did a bunch of documentary shorts where Sir Paul was talking about some of his early work. And they did it all in VR. And it was directed by Tony Kaye, who did American History X, among lots of other music videos. And Duncan's going to talk about the process, how they did it, and talk about, can you tell a story in VR? Can you tell a story? How do you edit this stuff? And we're going to show a little bit of it, and they're going to be out in the lobby with the other sponsors so people can put the goggles on and actually watch the shorts. And, of course, you can go online and watch it, too. You download some of those Google Cardboard goggles yourself and watch it. So we got him, and then we got these two wonderful filmmakers from that HP is presenting, and they did this VR short movie called Giant, which is based on a let's see, let me get my notes here. Two parents struggle to distract their young daughter by inventing a fantastical tale. They're in this sort of room, this bunker-like room during the war in Bosnia, and it's very intense. And it's really exceptional, and they're going to be talking about that. And again, you can go into the vendor area and put on the goggles and watch it. But it's all going to be about understanding this stuff, how to put it together, because there's so much out there. You're going to end up, I guarantee you, you take one of those little, what do you call them, theta cameras, those 360. I bet you're going to end up doing a lot of interviews with that just to experiment. I mean, we're going to be talking about, is this just a gimmick? Is it going to be here for a short time? Is it going to be, is it going to last? I mean, what is it good for? Can you make any money with it? That kind of stuff. And people are very interested in it, and they're doing a ton of productions. And Amsterdam especially has a ton of production houses that are doing this VR. And they're like, I would imagine they're about a year ahead of us. They're doing so much. And they're doing extraordinary stuff. Plus, they're also putting out a lot of education. So people are going to hopefully come away from this SuperMeet understanding this phenomenon a bit more, and then start going out and experimenting with it. Because the neat thing about this whole VR 360 degree video is there's no rules. Everybody's sort of making it up as they go along and finding out what works and what doesn't work. And with audio as well as visual. And it's fun. It's like back in the old days when we had that digital revolution where people were experimenting, where they were doing really cool stuff. And this is what this VR world is all about right now. It's not just games. It's being utilized everywhere in sports. Was utilized, of course, at the Rio Olympics. If you just go to Olympics.com or NBCOlympics.com, they had VR coverage on all the events. And and also in news, taking VR cameras into conflict zones. That's one of those things where you can look anywhere you want to look while the camera is there, so you can see where you want to see rather than the photographer pointing the camera where he wants you to see. You have the ability now to look around, and it's great for sports, and it's great for live events. Is it great for telling a story? I don't know. But I have seen some stuff. I think it works really well.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff. I think a lot of people are, as you said, experimenting with it now, and I know I get torn, and we don't want to go too far off just down the VR hole here, but it's interesting because if you just set that camera there, then people can kind of make up their own story. as to within the environment, of course, that you're doing, as opposed to me being able to say, okay, I want to command that your vision is here, and then something happens over there, and I'm going to force you to look over there. Now, even if the building is blowing up over here, you could be over here looking at a kitten. And
but if you do blow up that building over there, you're going to force that person to look, because the sound, the audio is going to force you to look over there. If you hear the kitten, you're going to turn around and see if the kitten's okay. And that's what this whole world is right now. It makes you watch with audio and with spatial audio, 3D audio. And so, yes, the people who are really kind of knowing what they're doing, or at least experimenting well, are doing it with audio. And especially Giant, it has a lot of really good instances where it does force you to watch where the filmmaker wants you to watch. And you don't necessarily just plant the camera. You can actually move the camera.
Oh, sure.
So it's really interesting. So
yeah. I'll have to check it out. It's again, I'm not.
I'm not crazy about it. I haven't seen anything that's crazy about it. I still think it is a bit gimmicky. There has to be a reason why you're using it. Why are you using 360? And I can understand it for sports, and I can understand it for live events and news and things like that. But do I understand it for storytelling? I'm not sure. It's kind of like 3D, going to 3D movies. I don't like 3D movies. I don't get it.
See, that's interesting. I can't say that I crave 3D movies, but I sort of accept it. If it's in 3D, okay, it's in 3D. If it's in 2D, then it's in 2D.
I'd rather go see the 2D version. I mean, there are those comic book movies that require you to go see it in 3D, or some sci-fi stuff. But every time I go see it, I would have got much more involved in the story if it was just 2D. So I don't even go to 3D movies anymore. So that's maybe it's generational.
It could be generational. I think it also has something to do with how well it's done. I mean, sometimes I think it's just there for the sake of being there. The best thing I've seen in 3D in the movie theater so far is the last Star Wars movie. There's one scene that you just know that the Star Destroyer's nose is sticking out over the audience in front of you. There's just no way it's not. I mean, it was that particular shot was so well done. The rest of it, maybe not quite as well. But so I think if the right attention is paid to it, it can be a compelling addition to the experience. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's. I saw Star Wars in 2D, so.
Yeah. Okay. That would have been worth 3D for you, but
okay,
that's one shot. So.
But I saw, what was it? I think the last one I saw was like Avatar years ago.
Oh wow!
And then of course when I saw Avatar on TV, I got more involved with it on television than I did in the 3D world, because there was too many gimmicks happening, too many things coming out of my face, which took me out of the story. Yeah. And of course it was brilliantly done. It was a great story, but. So that's the problem we're having right now with VR and 360. And plus the fact that you have to put on goggles, so it's not a communal experience. Right. However, with certain things, even like sports is great to sit with your buddies and watch on the television. With goggles on, number one, you look stupid, but. It's really cool to be able to look where you want to look. When you watch baseball on TV, you can only see where the camera's pointing. I would love to see what that left fielder is doing and that right fielder is doing. But you can only see that he's on the pitcher or on the first baseman. He's following the ball. There's a lot of drama happening out in the field. If you did 360, you can do that. So,
and these are exactly the kind of things I think that filmmakers, video producers, whatever, have to be taught or have to be sort of forced to think about, because we're not used to thinking in those terms. And so now, I mean, you've already brought up a number of good things. The spatial audio that helps force you to look at what you should be looking at. I mean, that's just a whole nother dimension to the 3D experience.
Yeah, we did a little bit of that at the SuperMeet in NAB, where Ted Shulowitz got up and one person got up from the audience from the left-hand side and said something. Everybody turned around and to look who this guy was. Somebody from the front of the audience got up and replied to that person from the back of the audience. Everybody looked at that person. Somebody from the other side did the same thing. Everybody looked at that, because who is this person? That's telling a story in virtual reality in 360.
Yeah.
It's forcing people to look where you want them to look with simple blocking and audio. Yeah. So yes, it can be done. I've seen some good stories. I've seen like 2 or 3, but most of it's, especially in the narrative structure, it just isn't working for me. It's a little bit gimmicky, but it's just in its infancy.
Sure. Yeah.
There's so many cool things happening. So that's why we're doing a lot of VR in this. Excuse me, and then we're doing also, of course, Blackmagic's bringing up a cinematographer is going to be talking about something he did, which I don't really know what it is going to be yet. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then LumaForge, which is this new company that's come up with this new shared storage system that is just wicked fast. And they're actually going to set it up. They have only 10 minutes to do this. They're going to set it up on stage in front of everybody and turn it on and make it work. So that's going to be interesting. It could completely fall apart. I don't know.
There's always that sense. There's always that sense of danger with some of these presentations.
Oh, I know.
Which is fun.
This is going to be really dangerous because really all they have is 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring it up. They're going to connect all this stuff, and they're going to make it work. And then we're going to see tons of 4K streams going at the same time. Will it work? I don't know. Well, I think they're going to make it work. And then Phatek, which is from Germany, it's this brilliant match moving plugins for After Effects. They're going to be demoing. And then, of course, we have Adobe. And Adobe's going to be talking a little bit about VR, too. And so they have they support VR big time. So it's going to be a really good show. And it's there's no selling. It's just good education, solving your problems. And that's what I love about the Amsterdam SuperMeets. It's just, it's the people out there in the audience are enthusiastic. They're really, really smart, really creative, and they want to learn, and that's kind of what these SuperMeets are all about.
Yeah, we talk about that every time we talk about a SuperMeet. That it's the creative part, it's the connecting part.
And the connecting part, again, we go over this every time we talk, but it is the most important thing about these SuperMeets. It's just getting there and shaking the hand of that person that you do not know, and then hopefully, making a relationship with them. And it all started with the handshake between you and me somewhere. I don't remember, 10 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And you changed my life, and it's been a great relationship ever since. And it just started with the hello.
Yeah. Well, I know now that I've been an attendee at a number of SuperMeets, you start to see a lot of the same faces, especially among some of the vendors, but also among a lot of the attendees. And, at the end of the night, you say, hey, see you next year. And you really mean it because you're looking forward to it. And you also mean it because you know that if there's any way possible, both of you are going to get back there for another great event.
Yeah, I mean, it is important to continually keep going to this because each time you meet a new person and you form a larger family and you feel more comfortable, which means you can meet more people because your larger family knows more people and they can introduce you to them. And, by the time you've done 4 or 5 of these things, you know a lot of people. And some of those people are really going to help you, and you're going to really help them. And that's how you become successful in life, I think.
Well, the other thing too about the SuperMeets, and I'm talking about on stage, but also off stage as well. You see things for the first time, and you may not see them again or come in contact with them or even need them for who knows how long. Might be 2 days, might be 2 years.
Yeah, good point.
Then it's like, oh yeah, I remember talking to them, or I remember seeing something about that. You go back and it all comes rushing back. So you're exposing yourself to all these new things and these new ideas and these creative people, and that's a fantastic part of it.
That's a great point. I never even thought of that, but yeah, it is. I mean, I learn something all the time because number one, I can't keep up with just everything. So, and we try to keep up with all the new technology and the new wants and needs and things like that. And again, we're hitting up on VR and 360 because it's the big buzzword. If we could bring drones into the theater and fly them around, we would do that. Trust me.
Yeah, don't doubt it for a second.
And but no, you need a net. So I think even in Amsterdam you need a net, so we're not doing that. But those are the things that everybody's talking about and wanting and doing, because they're doing amazing production work with drones, and they're putting these 3D cameras on drones, and I mean VR cameras on drones, and with VR rigs like the GoPro rigs. And there are a lot of inexpensive rigs out there, but there are a lot of very expensive. The two that I were talking about, the VR movies that I was talking, I think both of them were shot with the Jaunt camera. Now the Jaunt camera looks like a big bowling ball, and it has 24 lenses. 24. It's going all over the place. They're all synced. Yeah. And just think about the stitching that goes into that. First of all, you can't bring that into a computer. It goes off into the cloud, into a stitching universe, and it stitches all together there. A lot of those live events in Rio were shot with the Jaunt camera and then shot over to the cloud and then stitched together and brought back for you to just watch. And incredible technology, incredible cameras, very expensive cameras.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that's interesting. You know, for a while, our computers kind of got ahead of us. And then when we got to the point that, okay, the speed of the desktop doesn't matter anymore because we can't keep up. Yeah. Now it's starting to shift back, that we don't have enough power on the desktop, that we're having to shuffle it off to render farms or stitching farms or whatever via the internet. So it
I mean, eventually,
never changes.
You know what's going to happen. Eventually, it's just going to be automatic stitching. It's all going to happen. It's just because we are in the infancy of all this. But you're still dealing with an enormous amount of footage, because you have, with this little bowling ball here, you have 24 cameras. So that's a lot of footage. And that's a lot of data. So it's got to be crunched and put together and stitched together and then brought back for you to edit.
I know I know the size of the files that come out of just my poor little iPad with shooting 4K.
Yeah.
And that's an iPad. You know, think about, like you say, 24 cameras that are targeting even better resolution and better color depth and all that. And
yeah, these are the really expensive cameras, and they're not the little $300. What do you call them? Theta. Is that the word?
Yeah,
the brand
Theta S, I think. Yeah.
And then the GoPros, they have their little rigs. But you still got to stitch those together. You know, you're not sending those out, and it takes too long. Yeah. It frustrates a lot of people, and right now a lot of people give up. A lot of consumers give up. Professionals, well, they're digging this thing because it's new. Yeah, and they're making the rules.
Well, and you know, it's funny how now we can go to the movies and we see things, and if you stop and think, when was the first time I saw that effect? I saw that effect 5-10 years ago. Now it's sort of ho-hum. Back then it was like, oh my gosh, you know, this was amazing.
Yeah, so, I know. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the first time. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. You know, but it's still. Can you tell a story with it? Can you engage me for more than a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
And can I stop being dizzy and getting sick when I look down with those goggles?
Yeah, but you know, Mike, that's funny you brought that up. I was thinking about that earlier when you were talking. That was a big concern for a while, and it still is. But I don't seem to hear nearly as much of it. So I somewhere they figured out frame rates and something that have made people less susceptible to it.
Well, I think right now, I mean, you're making all your money in games. Dealing with this virtual reality. When we talk virtual reality, we're really talking CGI, and when we're talking 360 video, that's a whole different thing. When you're actually filming, so it's a whole different terms. 360 or VR is generally CGI for gaming, and the gamers who put those Oculus Rift goggles on are honestly immersed into that world that these game people have come up with, and they can look down and not get sick, and they can look all around, and it's the technology is so amazing. Yeah. But I would, it lasts 5 or 6 minutes, and first of all, I can't see the controller, and I haven't memorized all the buttons and things, so I'm an idiot with it. But my son and other people who do this stuff, holy cow, it's a completely immersive experience.
It's second nature to them.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool.
Mike, do you find there is a significant difference between, say, the U.S. audiences for the U.S. SuperMeets and the the audiences for the European super meets, and it seems like you've kind of settled, at least for the moment, on Amsterdam as one of the tentpoles of the European side.
Yeah, well, obviously the Vegas SuperMeet is the flagship. It is the one that attracts the most people because the most people come to the NAB. But yeah, and also we have the proximity to Los Angeles, and so when we have a SuperMeet in Vegas, it would attract about 1,200 to 1,500 people. In Amsterdam, we can only put 500 people in the room. And so that it won't attract any more than that. However, I think that Europeans they tend to be more enthusiastic. They tend to be more demanding of what they see on stage. If they don't like what they're seeing on stage and it's not resonating with them, they'll get up and walk out and go back to the vendor area and have a drink and talk to the vendors, and then they'll come back and watch something that they're interested in. So they're a little bit more demanding in that way. However, they're incredibly enthusiastic, they're incredibly bright, and incredibly creative. I mean, honestly, they're doing stuff which is really fun to talk to them about, that no one I know over here is doing. And you would think Los Angeles would be the place where everything is happening first. I don't think it is. I think it's happening first in a lot of European places. They're taking a lot of this technology and they're doing with it what they think should be done with it, which is unique. And I just love it. It's just really just great people, really enthusiastic people, and really nice people, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. You mentioned the vendor area. What kind of exhibitors are you going to have this time in the vendor area for Amsterdam?
A lot of people that you know, obviously. We have a few new people. We have Phatek, which is the plugin maker for After Effects. Our platinum sponsors, I have to mention, because they're the people that basically pay for this whole thing, is Adobe, Blackmagic, and HP and NVIDIA. And then Phatek will be talking about their plugin. LumaForge is going to be doing that really groovy thing. We got Simply, which is a new storage system that just has come out. They just started. It's a startup company called Simply, and they think they got something new. And I think they might be right. Dashwood Plugins, which is a VR plugin, it allows you to edit VR much easier on your NLE, whether it be Premiere or Final Cut Pro 10. We got they've been with us ever since the beginning, the Future Store, which is one of the Apple reseller places in Holland. They're going to be there. Metal is another VR plugin that you would need in order to edit VR or makes your life easier. And we got a number of other ones. We got about 20 of them, 20 this year. And so we got a lot of vendors out there, and each one of them is people, because it's such an intimate area. They're pretty much there just to support the community and solve any of your problems. If you're having problems with whatever you need to do, you just ask them questions. And that's kind of why they're there. They're not really there to sell you anything. They're there to solve your problems, which is kind of what everybody else is kind of getting together for. So, and that's what, like I said, that's what we do. That's what we're all about, solving people's problems. You just have to ask the right questions.
Yeah, and I want to make a point that I never have felt sold to at a super meet. I feel like there are vendors in the exhibit floor or vendors on the stage, wherever, to show you what they're doing, to solve problems, to explain the capabilities that are available to you. But it's never, like, okay, these 25 plugins for $99 or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or, and tonight only. You don't get that. I mean, frankly, there may be some specials that I'm not aware of. I don't know, but that's never the point. And that's one of the refreshing things about the Super Meet.
Yeah, I think most of these guys they do have specials.
Okay.
I think they do. Most of them do at Vegas, but they never tell me, so I really don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I always ask them, if you have any specials, I'll tell everybody that you're having them, but they never tell me, so I don't think they're about that either. They really are about solving your problems.
Well,
And speaking of that, because I know it's getting late, I want to get to the raffle.
yes. Oh, yeah. We have to talk about the raffle. Come on.
This is world record raffle this time.
Wow.
At least Amsterdam raffle. This is the most. First of all, the most prizes we'll be giving out, and in terms of the absolute total value of the entire raffle, it's a world record Amsterdam SuperMeet raffle. Thank you.
Okay. Well, don't just sit there. Tell me what.
All right. Well, you can actually go to the website and see all the entire list, but it's over 71,000 euros worth of prizes.
Whoa.
I mean, it's huge. It's massive. I mean, these are just some of these prizes are incredible. The Z book that I told you, all you have to do is show up before 6 o'clock that night, and you're eligible for. You have to be one of the first 300. So the odds are 1 in 300 that you're going to win this fully loaded Z book. It's like $2,500 value or €2,500 value, and the Foundry gave us what they're calling a VR starter pack, which is Nuke and Kara VR, and these are very expensive pieces of software. It's a total value of something like 10,000 euros just for that, and then of course, not to be, they gave us Moto and Mari, which I don't know exactly what does. If you're a gamer and a game designer, you need this. But that's like 3,000 euros worth of software. Then we're giving away a Jellyfish HD 24 terabyte shared storage system. Let me say that again. Jellyfish HD 24 terabyte shared storage system. That's like a $9,000 or 9,000 euro value. Blackmagic's giving away an Ultra Studio 4K Extreme, Blackmagic Ursa Resolution Viewfinder. We're giving. Oh, I bet you know what this is. Have you seen those DxO1s? Those things you attach to your iPhone. It's kind of a big, kind of miniature camera.
Yeah, it makes it almost look like a DSLR.
Yeah. Well, we're giving away one of those.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And Promise is giving away 2 Pegasus, 2 R4s. This is the. It's a big, huge storage systems, 2 terabyte storage system. Then they're giving away 4 terabyte personal cloud storage systems. Then we're giving away Ninja Flame from Adamus. Drobo's giving away your choice of a 5D turbo storage array. There's like 3 different ones you can choose from. NVIDIA's giving away a Quadro package. We're giving away tons of audio plugins from Isotope, Tangent Ripple. Geez, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And it's 71,000 euros worth of prizes. Wow. Yeah, it's going to be like a 5-hour raffle. It'll go to 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's it. That's not a bad thing.
It's getting so crazy. It's getting wonderful. I mean, it's because people love to give to the raffle and they have a great time. And the people go ahead in Amsterdam, when we ask them to get enthusiastic about the raffle, as you know, we tell the people if you show a little joy and happiness and appreciation, you'll get more than what you are getting. And boy, do they play that out. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Well, you're a pretty good ringmaster at that. I'm not going to say that you incite to riot, but you encourage.
It gets kind of close, but and there were a couple of times where it got kind of scary. But you can get it calmed down really easily, and everybody knows about it now, and it's just fun. It's just really a lot of fun, and that's why I look so much forward to the SuperMeet in Amsterdam. It's because the people are fun, creative, really smart, and they keep us on our toes. And I think we've got one of the best shows that we've ever produced. Coming up. So this has to be the focus of this interview, but I also have to ask: is this the last SuperMeet of the year? This is going to be the last one.
Okay.
Yeah. We were looking maybe to do one at the NAB show in New York. We just couldn't get it together because you got to remember it's just me and Dan, so we don't have a staff of 10 and you get so exhausted. You're so exhausted after the Vegas one, and then you go right into this one. And so normally we do 2, 3, 4 a year, but this year we're just going to do the Amsterdam and the Vegas one. I think partly because we're getting older and just getting more tired.
Well, there's so many places that would love to have you come and do one, but you're right. It's just the two of you, and I'm glad to know that you aren't diluting the shows and trying to say, well, we just won't. It won't be quite as polished or as cool, and we'll do more of it.
Of course, ego would never allow that. I mean, you put your heart and soul into these things,
and it shows.
It means everything. It means the world that people get something out of it. And you're not going to please everybody, obviously, but you're going to try to please as many people as you possibly can. And you're giving them the education you think that they need to know. It's not always the right choices, but I think in this case, this world of VR and 360 is stuff we need to know because it's here, it's happening. People are making money off of it. You might as well get used to it. You might as well learn it. You might as well understand it. And this is as good a place as any to get that 101 education for a couple of hours and then go off and get the rest of your education.
And above all, I always make this point at the end of the day, it's fun. I mean, it's a fun event. It's not, I don't care what level of filmmaker you are or if you're not a filmmaker, if you're just thinking about being a filmmaker, this is a great event to go. It's not terribly expensive, especially if you're local. And you rub shoulders with a lot of people that are doing amazing things. I guarantee you're going to come away with knowledge and with motivation and some creative ideas.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea. We kind of overuse that word inspire a lot, but that's the hope that you get at the end of the night. You're inspired to take what you've learned and go out and do something wonderful. That's and some people do, and some people go home with really cool prizes.
A lot of really cool prizes.
Yeah, a lot of really cool prizes. So if we don't have a big crowd this year, everybody's going to go home with a really good prize because we have so many prizes. So it's
well. So take us through all the specifics: price, location, the whole deal.
Okay. Yeah. The price is just ridiculously cheap, and the reason it's ridiculously cheap, and it always is ridiculous, it's never changed. The price has never gone up since the first SuperMeet. And why? It's because of our sponsors. They pay for this. Because these events are incredibly expensive, but we get all these sponsors, they pay for this so we can keep these prices low. And so it's 15 euros. Although some of the companies out there, like you, by the way, I'll tell you about that in a second, you can save €5 off of your $15 general admission price of €15. It's so hard for me to keep saying euro instead of dollar. So it's €15 to get in. It's on September 11th, which is a Sunday, and it's going on alongside the IBC show, which is at the RAI Convention Center, which starts on September 8th, 9th, something like that, and goes through the 12th. And we're on Sunday 11th at the Hotel Krasnopolski, which is away from the convention center and it is right there in the heart of Amsterdam. It's just right there in the city center. It's this beautiful, beautiful hotel right in Dam Square, which is a very famous area. So that's and then the doors open like at 4:30 and goes until the raffle ends. So who knows when that's going to be? We supposedly are supposed to end at 11 p.m., but it'll go a little bit longer than that because the raffle's just insane. And then, of course, then we have that vendor area because that's what you want to get there for. You want to get there at 4:30. You want to go in the vendor area and start meeting and greeting people and going to all the vendors and the sponsors, talking to them, seeing what they're doing. There's some stuff that they're showing that you haven't got a clue about, and but it's really cool. And you just talk to them, and that's a good way to, if you're a shy person, is a good way to meet people who might be standing next to you while you're talking to the vendor, and that's just a good way to turn to them and say hello, and then you might make a friend for the night, especially if you come by yourself. And so we do that, and of course you go to supermeet.com and click on the buy tickets. Now, here's the deal if everybody listens. We provided a code for you, for your listeners and your watchers, called MacVoices VIP, which I will send to you in an email in just a second. And they can save €5 off the general admission, making the cost 10 euros plus ticket fee. So it's like 11 euros. So that's it. That's what it costs you. And you get free food. You got to pay for your drinks, and you got to pay for the raffle tickets. Oh, it gets you 2 raffle tickets too. So you don't even have to buy any extra raffle tickets unless you want to buy some extra raffle tickets so we can, help pay for the place. But you get a really, really good deal. That's all it costs.
You sure you guys shouldn't raise the price a little bit just to make sure you
That's
can
what my wife always says.
Well, I want to make sure you keep doing this, Mike. That's the thing, But
no, it's we've been told that, and we talk about that all the time. That you put on a good show that people would pay 20, 25. But who's the audience? The audience out there is pretty much independent filmmakers, and they don't have a lot of money. And it cost them a lot of money just to get there. And why do they want to, spend any more money to, it's not that we owe these people anything. It's just that we want to treat these wonderfully creative people with the respect that I think they deserve to keep them. We don't want anybody left out. We want everybody to be included, which is why my local user group here, it's $5 to get in. That's it. And that pays for the theater. And you'd be surprised how many people complain about that. And I go, well, fine, don't come. I don't want you in here anyway. But,
yeah. Well, those are the people that don't really appreciate what it takes to put on events like this. They have no frame of reference.
Well, we don't do it for thanks or anything like that. We really honestly do it, and because we think what we're doing is something that you need and that you should see and want, and we get a lot out of it if indeed you go out and take this and do something great with it. If you don't, then we don't get a lot of rewards. We're certainly not doing this for the financial rewards, as you know.
At that price, you can't.
We get paid for what we do. We're not doing this for free, but we're not rich by any means. We do want everybody to be able to attend, and a lot of those people are struggling, and we want them to be at this event. And quite frankly, we give away free tickets to anybody who writes us and says, I really can't afford this. Fine, go in. So it's important that you're there as long as you get something out of it.
Yeah.
Of course, you'll get something out of it as long as you put something into it. So.
Well, yeah. Okay, to wrap this up, trivia question.
Yes.
What number SuperMeet is this?
Oh, this is the 9th. 9th Amsterdam.
9th Amsterdam. How about overall? Do you have any idea?
All right, the 15th was the Vegas one.
Okay, so
that was the 15th one.
This will be the 16th.
This will be the 9th Amsterdam SuperMeet. We've done like 5 London SuperMeets, a couple of Boston SuperMeets, we haven't done San Francisco in a while. And I'll tell you why we haven't done San Francisco in a while is because it's too damned expensive. Yeah. It got to the point where the venues were crazy expensive, and we would have had to charge people $25 to $40 to get in, even if we had a lot of sponsors. And we just didn't want to do it anymore. It just got too hard. Yeah. And Vegas is really, really expensive too, but we'll get the numbers there to make it sustainable. But we can't do San Francisco, get 500 people and make it sustainable. So we had to stop it.
Yeah. Well, there are certain realities here.
Oh, yeah. And Amsterdam is actually the most inexpensive SuperMeet we do, believe it or not.
That surprises me.
I think because we've had this wonderful relationship with Hotel Krasnopolski, and they've given us the same deal for 9 years now. They've never raised our rates, even though they've completely remodeled the entire hotel.
Wow, that's
which,
great.
You and me, they should have never done because it looked great before they remodeled it. Now it's modern.
Modern, yeah. you like the old world charm, right?
No, it was like this historical monument, and then it's just all modern now.
Well, so we send folks to supermeet.com.
Yes,
there they can get all the details.
I don't know if you can put it on your page, the MacVoices. I can give you a direct link they can click on, and they'll get the $5 off, or just MacVoices VIP promo. That's the promo code.
Okay, all caps?
No.
No. All
Actually, I
lowercase.
don't think it matters. All caps or I don't really think it matters. It's MacVoices VIP. But I'll send it to you via email, and you can have it on the show notes.
All right. So one way or another, folks, that means you get €5 off, and so it makes it even more affordable. But, and that way, Mike also knows that you heard about it here, and, but I love to support this event because I think it's a community-oriented event. It's always a great event. I know that everyone that I've ever gone to, once again, I come away inspired. I come away with information and stuff I can really use, not just pie in the sky
and also,
stuff.
what really bummed us out this year is when you were interviewing all the vendors at the Vegas SuperMeet, and then you lost all the footage.
Well,
that just so bummed us out.
I don't even know if I've ever told this story on the show, but I had great footage. I had beautiful footage and no audio.
Oh,
one of my cables went bad, and so I've got great silent movie footage. I mean,
you can use it for B-roll.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that being a solo shooter, you don't know is happening. Everything looked good, and it wasn't until I got home that I realized, and it just broke my heart because there were some great conversations with some great people that they're just gone.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like
I was so sad.
Yeah, I don't mean like there was a little noise in the background or anything. I mean nothing. So,
Okay. Well, I wish you were coming to Amsterdam so you could do the same thing.
Well, I do, but I will definitely make up for it in Vegas. And who knows, whatever other super meets you may do, it's always possible I'll show up.
We're always talking about some city or another. It's just if anybody wants us, just send us a note and we'll try to make it work.
Okay.
And, all right.
There you go. Mike, it's great to see you. Thanks so much. Have a safe trip over and back, and a great super meet.
All right. Thanks so much, Chuck. And until the next one.
We'll do it again.
Okay. I'll let you know how this one goes.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Cheap tickets to Amsterdam. It's really tempting. If I didn't have something else that I've had to do, I think I might go for this one.
This is the year to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, there he goes. He's doing it to me again. Go to the super meet. We hope you have a great time. Thanks for watching. Visit macvoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.